Hey y'all, this is part 2 of my sort of how-to video, and I'm talking about roses. And in an attempt to make this focus where I wanted it to, I hit a button and stopped my recording. So if you're watching this, go back and watch the first one, which is just a couple of minutes before this. But long enough, I'm not going to re-record. Okay, so you can see on here that previously I trimmed right there, and the new growth now is coming out right here. And I was able to choose what direction. If I had wanted it to come out this way, I would have trimmed above that leaf right there, right where the little node is. And I'll see if I can find the proper names for these things and put them in the description. Here's another one here where I wanted it to go up. So I cut right here and I chose this leaf where I could get it to come straight up from there. And so you can really sort of tell your rose bush where you want it to go. If you want a new stem to come out on to the left, you find a little node to the left and cut right below it. If you want it to go to the right, you find a little node that's on the right hand side and clip off of it and below it, and it will come right out. And you can see here, I chopped the end off, and I got a whole bunch of new shoots here, all along it, almost just because I cut the end of it off right there. There were some spent flowers. Okay, now here's my next little how-to. Oh, look, big butterfly. Oh, look. Oh, no, we missed him. There he is. Big yellow butterfly. He's maybe a dog-faced butterfly. All right. Now, sort of the last thing, because it's the fall, and we built this gigantic enclosure for leaves to put in my compost during the year. We refilled it with leaves, neighbors' leaves, and so underneath here is last year's leaves, and they're probably squished down just about a foot. And so they kind of started about like this, and without me doing anything, they sort of cooked down to about a foot high. Now, over the year, I have put just garden waste on top of it, and it was sort of piled up. So, and during the year, I had dug through here and taken dry leaves off and put them in my compost pile. And so we took all the stuff off the top, which hadn't rotted, and it's been a very dry year, and so it would help if it had rained a lot and it would rot down and turn into compost, or turn into leaf mold, basically. We pushed sort of scraped the top off, all the stuff that hadn't broken down, and put it deep down in here. And then we put all the new leaves on top of it. And so that will keep it wet and warm, and it will help it cook down. And so when I get down there, eventually it'll just be perfect leaf mold. So we left these because it was starting to pour out, and so we left some of them in the bags. So what I do is, I've got compost piles over here. So I had a lot of just sort of debris on top of this, but I had really done pretty systematic composting here. And when I pulled this whole thing off, we took the detritus off the top, put it in the leaf pile. Then at the bottom, I pulled this whole plastic part off and had about a foot. Now this was not really full, because I usually have more, but I had about a foot of really perfect compost. And so I took this off and laid it on its side. I got my shovel, and I took my compost sieve. Oh, let me put this up here. I took my sieve and sat it. Let me get this. I sat it over the top of my little garden trug, and I shoveled in compost and shook it through. Anything left over that wouldn't go through, I dumped into my current compost like that. All right. And this is what I had left. And this is compost that's been cooking in there for probably a year or two, year at least, and sieve like that. And look at that. Isn't that just the most perfect compost? So I've been spreading it around here and there, and I kind of have more than I need at the moment. So now I'm restarting this bin. So there's still a little layer of nice compost, a little bit at the bottom. I put some new dried leaves on it, and now I'm gonna put this is an old composter. It's got more holes than walls. So the next thing I'm gonna do, and I don't know whether this makes any difference, but this is the instructions, I learned a long time ago, is put some more little branches. Anything bigger than a pencil really isn't gonna break down in a reasonable amount of time. It will eventually, but that's sort of my rule of thumb. Of course, I still get things bigger than a pencil in here, okay, off and on. But put some of these in here. This will, as you add things, that'll keep some air pockets in there and keep a little bit of airflow in there. So this is the composter that I've been working on. This is what I put food waste in. If I put a bowl of food waste, just clippings from the kitchen, or even leftovers. I don't put meat or cheese in here, but leftovers in here. So for every one bowl full of kitchen waste, which you would put it as in the green category, right? I put 2 of the same amount of leaves. If it starts to smell, that means I don't have enough leaves. And so you can always add leaves. If you want to, you can turn it and turn it and turn it. I don't ever turn it. I just let it cook. I leave it, and this is what I end up with no trouble. If you just let it sit and do the slow cook, you don't worry about how hot it gets. If you have time to just let it go, it will become this. All right, guys. So thanks for listening to me. Sorry I made you look at it in 2 different videos because technology failed me, or I failed technology. Depends on how you want to look at it. I'll leave with a shot of these amazing fire spike. These are my sort of heirloom fire spike. My mother dug these up out of a yard, her parents' yard in Galveston, when my grandfather died in 1962. And it has been passed down and passed down and passed down. And so this is the same plant. All right, y'all have a great week. Thanks for looking. I hope that some of you newer gardeners learned a little something from me. Take care. Bye-bye.